Hello everyone, it's Caribbean E and Tina.
Hello.
Welcome to the channel. Hope everybody just having a wonderful day and that you are in the best of health.
Yes, with health, as always, being most important. So today we thought we're going to try to do this whole series of things that we thought about moving here and transitioning here to the DR, and then that we found out were myths,
right,
or that were untrue, or that we built up in our own head to help you guys, because we're having a lot of you come over to visit and thinking about transitioning and moving abroad. And then when they come out here, they're like shocked and freaked out because they don't have the things that they thought out here. And the majority of our expectations, I think we kind of built up in our own mind. I don't think very many of them, we took them for granted. Mm-hmm. That's what I said.
Right.
So here's things that we kind of, I guess, took for granted or thought that we would have out here. Luxuries, not luxuries, and then ended up finding out that we didn't. So we got our top 5. We had to narrow it down. The first one is that there is absolutely no Apple stores.
And I was very, very disappointed about that because I got to, and I'm definitely going to.
We even went to Puerto Rico.
We went to Puerto Rico trying to get new, brand new iPhones, and it was not
no Apple stores.
Apple store there. I was so shocked,
right,
because last time I checked, Puerto Rico is a Commonwealth, and it's part of the United States.
Well, you can get them at AT&T, so at least there's that. But they have limited amounts, so yeah, that was a
big letdown. You know, because I wanted to get that new phone that's got all those cameras on it, and that was just a big letdown.
Yeah, and the problem is that we saw lots of videos, and when we came to visit the few times, we saw Apple symbols and assumed that there was an Apple store, when in fact we didn't go to the Apple website and look to see what countries Apple were in, and Apple is not predominantly in the Caribbean at all. So not only Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, places like that, you won't find a freestanding Apple store. What you find is like a person out here that sells them refurbished or older bottles, and they are selling them secondhand. So they'll have an Apple symbol,
right,
but it's not
original Apple store.
Right.
Isn't that crazy? So you got to keep your eyes open on that one, boy.
Yeah. And the predominant brands of phones out here also. So like when we went to Grotto and we hadn't had the mindset, I guess, to think to get our phone, our Apple phone that we had it switched over to our Dominican phone. The only phones they were selling at the store, remember, were LG, and what's the other one?
And Hawaii.
Hawaii, yeah, that brand Hawaii. So which I had to actually look up. I didn't even know who they were. They're from China. That's what I found out. I was like, oh, they make TVs and electronics. Never heard of them. But yeah.
But that phone threw me off so bad.
Because it was an Android.
Yeah, it threw me off so bad because I've been with Apple so many years.
Yeah.
I couldn't relate to it.
I agree. So the next one is that there are no actual real malls. Now, when I say mall, being a girl from the Midwest, we have a huge mall, South Lake Mall. Now it's named something else, and then when we moved to Las Vegas, we have huge malls like Fashion Show Mall and the Henderson Green Valley Mall. So there's so many big malls with, I took for granted, I definitely should say, the amount of clothing stores and cosmetic stores for us ladies and shoe stores for you. We just don't have that out here. So a lot of people come out, whether they're visiting or moving, and they say, oh, what's the mall in Santiago? I just passed like 2 malls, which is best? And I'm like, what mall did you pass? Because I really don't consider any of these malls out here real malls. Do you?
I really don't. Not what we used to, because like I said, we had a whole bunch of malls in Vegas, from Meadows Mall to Boulevard Mall. It's just a bunch of them. But there's no malls in Santiago.
Right. They're malls. They're called these little strip malls, and these little, like Las Colinas is a mall, but they're full of secondhand stores. By that I mean, there's shoe stores and there's others, but if you go in and let's say we went to Anthony's. Anthony's is a big retailer out here, and you were looking at, what was it, like a Hollister shirt or something like that, not even, maybe, I don't know, and you saw it on a table, and you go, oh, can you ask her if there's like a large or extra large? And I went and asked her, and she looked at me like I was crazy. She was like, whatever is out, that's all we have. And they literally, it was like 1 PacSun shirt, 2 Hollister shirts, like 1 Gap shirt. And I was like, what the heck kind of store? And then I ended up finding out what in reality it's like a second hand. Yeah, and the only 2 places that there are big malls, like the Blue Mall and then Agora Mall, though both of those are in Santo Domingo, and in Punta Cana you have Blue Mall. But really, I mean, honestly, how many of us shop at like Versace every day? Right. Because the Blue Mall is high end. So unless I want a Louis Vuitton, then I'm not at the Blue Mall, to be quite honest. And Agora Mall has more of like your everyday, like your Tommy Bahama and
Zara and Kenneth Cole and stuff like that, stores like that.
So we kind of took that for granted that would just be everywhere whenever we just felt like shopping, and it isn't. And that's why we've taken a lot of trips to Puerto Rico, because Puerto Rico does have, like the Mall of San Juan is huge, and it literally has everything from your low end, like Forever 21 and Old Navy, all the way up to, there is like, you know, Louis Vuitton and Gucci and all that in there. So you can do all your shopping, and I took it for granted. One-stop shop. I love that. Like, you could have went and got a pair of Nikes at like Nike Town in Vegas. I would be over looking at purses, or I'd pop into Michael Kors. Like, the kids would be shopping for their stuff at like PacSun or like Levi. Like, we could all just shop, meet in the middle, and we're all done with our day. And you just can't do that here. That's not like the ability to do it isn't here in Santiago, at least. If I lived in Santo Domingo, yeah, because I could be at Agora Mall, but I think even I would get tired of Agora Mall. So that's another thing we took for granted, shopping and the ease of shopping.
Yeah, tell me about it.
He doesn't get all his hats the way he used to. Like, he could sneak off to the hat store, because remember, in Vegas there's a ton of hat stores.
You guys know I love my baseball caps, boy.
So the next is what I say is authentic and a variety of cuisine restaurants. Now, before you start hitting me up in the comments below on like all these different places, let me tell you, when I want to eat Mexican food in Vegas, I want to go to like a mom and pop Mexican place. And yes, there is one in Santiago, but for everybody that keeps writing to me about this place, their menu has gone like to this because of COVID, and they're only open a couple days a week. So that's not Mexican food to me. Like, if I want to go in and I want anything, I want a huge menu like we used to like Juan's.
That's the last good that's the last really authentic Mexican restaurant that I've been to.
Lucky you went before you left.
You better believe it, because it's been 2 years. I'm serious. It's been 2 years.
Right.
So whenever I go back to Vegas, that's gonna be one of the first places I go to and have dinner.
So you really do you don't realize it because you're there, but trust me, when you leave, you're spoiled, because we also in Vegas, you'd say, yeah, I want Asian food, and then I'd be like, okay, be specific. Do you want Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Philippine, Vietnamese? Because Vegas had it all. And if I said I wanted some good Korean barbecue, then we would go down to Chinatown and eat real Korean barbecue, like made on a grill on your table, like real. And there's nothing like that here. And then, don't you notice the taste is always like steered differently? It almost like they're making it Dominicanized.
Right. They got it's a Dominican.
Even the Chinese food.
Yeah, it's a Dominican version of it.
Right.
In the States.
And I think, honestly, I can tell them all the time, I go, it's because they don't have access to like the spices and the things that you would need to make really authentic food. But on top of that, they're not going to spend the money on it. So pricing and also training somebody, because I mean, I have been to school for culinary arts, and I'm not trained in every cuisine, but I can tell you that each cuisine does require an amount of training. So that's probably another reason for that. And then one you brought up was different types of convenience stores.
Right.
Like, we just run down the street and go to Target, and I would literally say to any of the kids or to him, what do you need? Because I'm going to Target. Well, that means that Target's got a pharmacy in it, you know, like your body stuff like deodorant and all that.
Everything.
And
Target
then
got everything.
Target also has clothes, and Target has electronics, and Target has, like it has everything. So we really got used to that convenience store kind of places. Although here I said I go at least. Don't you think that's kind of like a Target?
I think it is.
Like a high-end kind of, home decor kind of. It kind of reminds me of Target, don't you think?
A little bit. And Jumbo.
Because, I say at least more. Jumbo to me is like a Walmart.
But I bought some jeans there before.
Yeah, it's like a Walmart though.
Yeah.
Elise is a little nicer clothes and costs a little bit more.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's
Elise
true.
is like Target, Jumbo's like Walmart. There you go. But even with, you said pharmacies.
Right. Absolutely.
So Walgreens and CVS, as you guys know, shoot, if you want a bottle of wine, if you want a box of bandages, plus you need, I don't know, some macaroni because you're cooking something, it's all at a Walgreens or a CVS. Whereas here, you don't have that convenience store pharmacy. You have a pharmacy. Like Carol is a pharmacy. Yeah, and most of the stuff like we did in a video. So if you haven't seen it, watch our video on that, where if it's at a certain price threshold, it's behind the pharmacist. Like we couldn't find multivitamins, and I'm used to just popping into Walgreens and going right up to
a huge section.
Yeah.
A huge section.
Of all kinds of vitamins.
CVS and Walgreens and some of the others. I mean, it's just that you won't see here because, like I said, the country is different. And even their cars are really small.
Yeah.
And the really good stuff is behind the glass, behind the counter.
Right. And then that takes longer because then you have to get in line. You have to be waited on. They have to bring the items forward. You have to decide what you want. So things that would take us, like I'll tell you, before in Vegas, I would take the car and I'd run like 5 errands and be done like in less than 2 hours. I could go to Target and CVS, and I could go to the grocery store, and I could do this, I could do that. I could do stuff like that fast in Vegas, whereas here, I could be forever and a day just doing one. Like, we get so exhausted, ain't it? I'm like, we do 2 things, and I'm like, oh, I'm done for the day. It's like, where did the day go? My day's gone. Like, I don't understand. So, yeah, the convenience, I think. It's not the stores as much as I think it is the convenience of that. And the last one, this is for adults and our adult beverages. Now, in Vegas, we had Lee's Liquor and Total Wine. Right, bulk, right?
And a few others.
Right. But if I went to, let's say, Total Wine and say, hi, I'd like a bottle of red wine, they'd look at me and go, half the store is wine, be more specific, because there was just an aisle of just say Bordeaux. There's an aisle of just, Chablis. There's an aisle of everything. So we don't have that wide of a variety out here. You know that because he's the wine. He's like,
I love different types of wines and especially blend. I'm a wine blend drinker, and I love a good wine with a good meal. It's just.
But even a Presidente, if you want. To, when he goes to buy a can of Presidente, you could go to 4 different stores. You could have went to Central, you could have went to Contigo, you could go to Supermercado Nacional, or you could be like, look it up on PriceSmart, and it's 4 different prices, and then it depends on who actually has it, because you've gone to Contigo, they've been out. Right. You've gone to Supermercado Nacional, which is a huge one, and they've been out. Right. I've tried to get a hold of Presidente Light for the last 2 months, and from PriceSmart, they've been out. So it's just the accessibility to simple things and big things, and then the huge difference in prices. Because you said one time, like somebody had it for 60 some.
54 pesos, and then one had it 45. For 45 pesos. So the prices are all over the place. Right. All depends what time of the month you go, and what they have actually on stock on the shelf.
Right. So that's the thing. Do they have it in stock? And it's not like I am a vodka drinker and I could get lost in the Lee's Liquor vodka aisle because there's so many different varieties and there's so many different flavors and there's so many different types. What do I feel like today? Do I feel like potato or do I feel like, like a wheat vodka? So, I mean, there's so many, and when you get out here and you have 4 that you can choose from, I'm just like, so that was something to get used to. But those are just some of the things that if you think if you have the mindset that everything's going to be the same, that all you're doing is switching zip codes, you're going to be shocked. A lot of people ask, can I get my Amazon? Can I get this? Can I get that? Just check with the provider, like I say, to make sure that they don't have that little clause in there that they don't ship to a non-home address. But if they do, you're all good, and then you can get your stuff through. There's like 3 or 4 different Venmo packs, not the only one, but there are lots of other ones. So just things to think about.
Absolutely. So keep that on your mind when you get here. So in the meantime, between the time, always remember that life is to be enjoyed.
Yes. Make sure to hit that subscribe. Always hit notifications so you can get notified on videos like this. Give this and all videos a thumbs up. That is the free and easy way to patron the channel. Remember that hitting subscribe and hitting thumbs up changes that algorithm and helps us to help you. I want to welcome all our new subscribers to the channel and thank you so much for joining. And remember that all information is always underneath every video, which includes people that you may need help from, realtors, insurance brokers, and if you'd like to schedule that one-on-one consultation via phone or video with us.
So, till next video. Peace.